Hey, good afternoon, folks. It's great to be able to talk to you again, and I appreciate you giving me this time. I want to take a few minutes just to talk to you about the mask bylaw that is being passed in the city of Red Deer. And I know we're all talking about it anyway, so I want to talk to you about our position as a church, as elders and leaders in this church, where we're going to go, so that you know the direction that we're taking. But before I get there, I would like to say this, that, as elders in the church, the thing that breaks our heart more than anything else, it isn't really got to do with the mask bylaws or AHS guidelines. It's the fact that as a body, we're deeply divided. We're in a city that's deeply divided over all these issues, but we're also in a church that's deeply divided on these issues. And I have strong opinions sent my way from this side and from that side. And the problem with this is that we cannot impact a divided city when we're divided. How do you take a gospel of reconciliation when we're not together as a body? So I want to suggest to you that we need to make some real shifts in our thinking, in our speaking, and in our behaving. Here's some of the shifts that I think we need to make. First of all, we need to move from victimhood to servanthood. Too many of us run around and post things like we're victims rather than understanding that we're servants. We're here to serve, obviously the Most High God, but the people that He's put us in relationship with, and to serve the city and to serve Central Alberta. Somehow we've got to make that shift from victimhood to servanthood. Another shift that we have to make is from hostility to hospitality. Now, we've talked about hospitality before, and I'm not just meaning bringing people into your homes. I'm meaning being respectful rather than being hostile and seeing other people as almost enemies because they think different. Being respectful enough to sit and listen, to invite them into your life, to give them the opportunity to share their heart, and maybe an opportunity for you to share your heart. But this idea of hostility and taking a position that's adversarial doesn't get us anywhere. So shifting from hostility to hospitality, I think, is key. Another shift that I've noticed that needs to be made is from winning to loving. We're too interested in winning. We want it this way or we want it that way. We're called to love. We're called to love the city. It's not about winning as Christians. It's actually about loving. And then the last shift I think we need to make is from criticism to honoring. And in this regard, honoring our leaders. The city of Red Deer has passed a bylaw, get third reading next Monday, and that bylaw is a bylaw that will require masks to be worn in public places. And at CrossRoads Church, we're going to honor the leadership of the city of Red Deer by wearing masks when we meet together. It's not what is ideal. It's not what we all would like to do, but it's what we have to do to honor our leaders. Now, that'll start November the 29th right here at CrossRoads. So if you come to CrossRoads, we'll be asking you to put a mask on, and we'll meet together that way. We'll worship that way. But you know what? We get to meet together. That's the key thing. A lot of people say to me, yeah, but we're not in the city of Red Deer. We're in the county. And that's true, and we could actually go rogue. But here's what you need to remember. We're the biggest gathering spot in Central Alberta, and everybody's watching what we do. If we go rogue on this, it'll send bad signals everywhere. We want to honor our leaders. We're moving from criticism to honoring our leaders. And by the way, when you honor our leaders, you know what you're doing? You're actually honoring God, because we're obeying His word by submitting to those in authority over us. Folks, we're not in a persecution. We're in a pandemic. And that's a whole different thing. I mean, this is something that applies not just to Christians and churches, but right across the board, businesses, stores. You won't be able to go anywhere without wearing a mask. It's a pandemic, not a persecution. We can do this. We can actually do this and experience the presence of God. If you said to any church in China right now, listen, you're free to worship God, you're free to sing, you're free to share the gospel, all we ask you to do is put a mask on, they would in a heartbeat go for that. They'd go for that in a heartbeat. I know it's not what it used to be, but I don't think we're probably ever going to get back to what it used to be. Here's what we've got to get our head around. not longing for the good old days and waiting to get back to normal, but understanding that God in our day is actually doing a new thing. And we get to be a part of that new thing. We don't understand it all yet, but I'll tell you what, when you're in line with God's Spirit, He's doing things right now that are unbelievable, drawing people to Christ. He's doing things that we would have never experienced before if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic like this. So God is doing a brand new thing. And I actually believe that when you come on Sundays on November the 29th, I actually believe we'll experience more of the presence of God than we ever had before. You know why? Because we're submitting to those in authority over us. Because in spite of the fact that it's not what we want, we're gonna actually follow the Holy Spirit and know that He's up to something really, really big in our day. Let me end by just grabbing that great line from Habakkuk where Habakkuk says, listen, God says to Habakkuk, I'm doing something in your day that you wouldn't believe now even if I told you. I believe that applies to us today. So I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you, I'm praying that somehow God would bring us together as a body. And we're not going to get our way, but what we are going to do is we're going to submit to the authorities and we're going to submit to God and we're going to ask God to do something new in our day that we get to be a part of it. God bless and look forward to hanging out with you on the weekend.